Luffy! 目を覚ませ！ルフィ。
Hey, my dear pirates. You are on channel Straw Hat's One Piece Theories. And in today's video we're going to talk about Luffy and how he can end up like the Pirate King. Yes folks, Luffy could end up getting sick at the end of One Piece or maybe even lose his identity. In the previous video we talked about the illness of Gall D. Roger and Edward Newgate and how their illnesses worked in a way that prevented these two characters who were known as the greatest and most powerful pirates of their times. So, could the same be happening to Luffy? Could Oda give him a disease to limit Luffy's powers? Or is there another way to limit the Nika fruit user's powers of imagination? Well, we're going to analyze all this in today's video. So if you want to be a pirate king like me and achieve eternal glory, go ahead and press the like button with all the power of your devil fruit. And if you're new here my dear sailor, already subscribe to the channel and don't forget to activate the notifications bell so you don't miss any new video, okay? Then join this crew that will dominate the entire Grand Line and the New World. Now without further ado let's get to this epic video. And well my dear pirate, here on the channel we have already analyzed the height of Luffy's powers as described by Oda in Road to Laugh Tale Volume 3. And in that video I mentioned that Oda would have to find a very creative way to deal with Luffy's powers so that he doesn't become something like a Toon Force in fact, so I came to the conclusion that maybe Oda could limit the Luffy's Gear 5 usage time, and that's exactly what he's doing, or giving Luffy a kind of disease, a negative effect of prolonged use of Gear 5. That way, Oda wouldn't have to worry about having to deal with the absurd level of Luffy's new powers for quite some time. As I said, Gear 5's fatigue is relatively higher, because of that Luffy's transformation into this new state ends up being for a short period of time, but as we know, it's also a matter of time for Luffy to get around this weakness and start to get used to this ability to the point where he can keep Gear 5 activated much longer. However, there are some interesting characteristics about the devil fruits of the mythical Zoan type that can bring some harm, and this could be Oda's answer to be able to better control the limits of Luffy's powers and how far our dear Straw Hat Captain can reach with your powers of imagination. And well, since when Luffy started to develop his abilities based on the power of his devil fruit, we had information that Luffy, by forcing his heart to pump more blood, could decrease his lifespan and his health in general. But after the time skip, Luffy learned to better control his skills, and these effects became so insignificant that Luffy doesn't even feel the same fatigue when using his primary forms of gear. But this problem ended up returning after the awakening of his devil fruit. When Luffy was about to die in the fight against Kaido, the awakening of his fruit forced him to revive, so to speak. His heartbeat increased a lot to the point of Zenesha saying that he was finally hearing the drums of liberation in the same way he heard in the past with the old Joy Boy. Luffy then could face Kaido with all his powers, but it still wasn't enough. His transformation ran out and we saw how Luffy really was exhausted. If in his previous fight against Rob Lucci he was already extremely weakened by using Gear 2nd, here with Gear 5 we saw Luffy literally wither and age. He literally became an old man. Frustrated, Luffy begs for his heart to beat at that rate so he can fight again, while Kaido keeps telling Luffy to be careful not to die because of his current state. Now add that to everything that happened to Luffy earlier. Well, for those who don't remember, Luffy arrived completely worn out by all the confusion that happened in Impel Down. Luffy also suffered fatigue and also a lot of damage in Marineford, reaching the point of almost dying in the middle of the war, but thanks to Ivankov, Luffy was able to return to battle after receiving some adrenaline hormones that, according to Ivankov, would directly affect Luffy's life expectancy. We must also remember that when Luffy was poisoned and defeated by Magellan and Impel Down, while he was trying to survive the poison, Luffy was injected with some hormones and, according to Ivankov, two things could happen to our protagonist: either he would die immediately or he would survive but lose 10 years of life. And well, Luffy ended up surviving. That is, my dear pirates, if we add up all the damage and side effects that Luffy has suffered, we can theorize that at some point he will have to experience some considerable damage to his body, even though he is made of rubber. In other words, Luffy can have the same fate as Roger and Whitebeard, but with different reasons and with a much more plausible explanation than the excessive use of haki or just a side effect of the devil fruits. In Luffy's case, it could be the union of several different factors, and this could be the limitation of his powers, or who knows, the end of Luffy. Luffy already said that he doesn't fear death, but he also already said that he wouldn't die as long as he has friends to protect and a dream to fulfill. So I believe that before something bad can happen to our dear captain of the Straw Hats, he will accomplish his goals, just like the former Pirate King. Of course, there is another possibility, which is Nika taking Luffy's body. We know that the mythical Zoan can end up dominating the mind and identity of its user if he is too weak, but we'll talk about that in the next video. But now I want to know your opinion about everything we commented here today. Do you believe that there is any possibility of Luffy getting sick like Roger and Whitebeard? Could an illness be the real factor limiting Luffy's powers? But of course, if you made it this far, it's because you like the content, so it doesn't hurt to subscribe to our channel and become one more member of our fleet, my dear sailor. And of course, do not forget to press the like button. That helps a lot in spreading the video and the channel, so help us to become the largest fleet of pirates here on YouTube, okay? A big hug for everyone, and until the next video.